Today, we are taking some really big, powerful concepts, ideas about expanding consciousness and identity.
And we're grounding them.
Exactly. Grounding them firmly in the measurable science of emotional safety and self-trust.
Our mission here is to explore how achieving a very specific state, biological coherence, is the direct path
The path to what, though?
to nervous system regulation, and through that, to sustainable, lasting transformation in your life.
We really want to show you how your heart holds the key to changing your chemistry.
And by changing your chemistry, you can begin to change your destiny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are looking at how this state, heart coherence, is really the doorway to profound change.
And we should probably be clear about our sources here because this is rooted in some really transformative work.
Right.
These insights are, they're inspired by powerful ideas popularized by thinkers like Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Especially that concept of moving beyond your past identity.
Yes, but our discussion synthesizes these ideas strictly through the lens of psychology, nervous system science, and epigenetic research.
So we're translating the transformational into the practical.
Yeah. And it's crucial we mention this is for educational purposes only. It's meant to equip you with knowledge, not replace any kind of professional, medical, or therapeutic advice.
With that clarity established, let's unpack the core problem, the thing that holds so many of us back.
Why is genuine lasting change so difficult?
Because, as the source material details, many of us are living in a chronic stress cycle.
Where the body is literally chemically conditioned to the past.
It's a perpetual feedback loop.
It is. When you're stuck in survival mode, your entire system is operating on chemistry that was designed for an immediate, acute threat.
And when you perceive a circumstance you can't control or predict.
Which could be anything. Financial worries, stress in a relationship, unresolved trauma.
Your sympathetic nervous system just activates.
Instantly. And that moves the body straight into survival mode. Fight, run, or hide.
And this is what creates that thinking feeling loop we hear so much about.
Exactly. You have a thought. Let's say it's a worrisome thought about money.
Okay.
That thought alone causes a biochemical reaction in your brain. It releases chemical signals.
Stress hormones.
Right. Stress hormones that make your body feel a certain way, fear, anger, anxiety.
And those feelings are so powerful, so compelling.
They immediately drive more thoughts that are equal to that exact emotion.
Which keeps the whole loop running.
Constantly. This redundancy hardwires the brain and emotionally conditions the body.
And emotions are really just the chemical residue of past experiences.
So if you can't think greater than how you feel,
You are, by definition, just thinking in the past.
over time, your body becomes the unconscious mind. It's living in the past, addicted to those stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol.
You're just waiting for the future to look exactly like the familiar, uncomfortable past.
The sources offer a really powerful, if dramatic, case study for this. A woman named Anna.
Her story was intense. She experienced immense trauma after her husband's suicide.
And it was coupled with a serious financial fallout. She was paralyzed by shock and grief, just unable to process that emotional charge.
And the physiological toll of that unresolved stress was just staggering.
She lived in a constant state of survival for years. And living in those long-term survival emotions, the anger, guilt, fear.
It doesn't just make you unhappy.
No, it biologically downregulates the healthy expression of your genes.
So your body's energy field is being drained.
It is, because most of its resources are being diverted to defend against a perceived threat that isn't even there.
The result for Anna was a complete biological breakdown,
Her body became structurally, functionally bound to her past stress.
which led to severe issues like neuritis, causing paralysis, chronic infections.
And tragically, esophageal cancer. Her chemical reality, that chronic internal state, had manifested as her biological reality.
That's the key insight we have to grab onto here.
The profound biological cost of living in chronic incoherence.
When those stress chemicals are constantly running, they are literally reinforcing disease and limitation at the cellular level.
So if your body is chemically addicted to the past, how do you even begin to think about a new future?
It seems impossible. If survival emotions are downregulating your health,
Then reversing it means you have to override that chemical addiction.
so how do we pivot? If the body gets hooked on the past through stress, how do we break that chemical bond and move into a future we actually design?
The solution is coherence.
What happens measurably when we intentionally choose elevated emotions? Things like gratitude, appreciation, compassion, joy.
Well, we start with heart coherence, and this isn't a metaphor.
It's a measurable state.
It's a measurable state where the heart beats in a rhythmic, orderly, and balanced way.
When researchers monitor brainwaves and heart rhythms, they can see this, can't they?
Clearly, during moments of stress, the patterns are jagged, irregular. That's incoherence.
But when people genuinely evoke those elevated emotions,
The rhythms instantly become smooth, harmonious, and orderly. That is coherence.
what's so fascinating is this synthesis of the brain and the heart here.
The core formula for any sustainable change needs two things to align.
Okay, what are they?
It takes a clear intention, which is a coherent brain, combined with an elevated emotion, a coherent heart.
You need both the thought and the feeling to be perfectly aligned.
That's what shifts our entire state of being and influences our biology.
Okay, but hold on. For someone new to this, heart coherence could sound a lot like positive thinking.
I see what you mean.
How does the science prove this is a real biological shift and not just wishful thinking?
That's the beauty of the measurable science. This shift has a physical, verifiable manifestation.
Okay.
When the heart enters this state of coherence, it creates a powerful, measurable magnetic field that projects significantly beyond the body.
So think of it less like a concept and more like a powerful broadcast.
Exactly. This is energy, it is a frequency, and that frequency carries information.
Your emotional state is the information being broadcast.
And that's critical. The sources detail that the three lowest energy centers, which are all focused on lust, consumption, aggression,
The survival centers.
they're energy consumers. They pull energy inward for basic survival.
But the heart is different.
When the heart, the fourth center, moves into coherence, it becomes an energy expander. It literally adds to the field around the body. It sends out that coherent, high-frequency information,
And this expansion has profound epigenetic power.
which means it changes how your genes express themselves.
So sustaining elevated heart-centered emotions sends a new chemical signal to your DNA.
You're essentially giving your DNA a new instruction manual. Focus on growth and repair.
So you are actively upregulating health and downregulating those destructive stress hormones.
Think about that for a second. You are signaling genes for growth and repair ahead of your external environment changing at all.
Because the body doesn't know the difference.
It doesn't know the difference between an emotion created by an external event and an emotion you create by thought alone. You are literally signaling the future into existence.
And the evidence shows that even a consistent, 5 to 10 minutes a day?
Even that can produce significant, measurable epigenetic change.
Let's focus on that incredible pivot point then.
Oh.
The heart center, the fourth energy center,
It's described as the transition zone
moving us from our lower animalistic survival nature.
to a more selfless nature, one associated with love, kindness, and wholeness. It is the chemical bridge.
This is where the chemistry of connection really comes in. It's heavily linked to the heart,
And the key hormonal player here is oxytocin,
which is rightly called the chemical of emotional connection.
or the bonding hormone. Elevated oxytocin levels produce these intense feelings of love, forgiveness, compassion, joy.
And there's direct scientific evidence that this chemical actively overrides fear.
There is. The sources highlighted a fascinating detail from a famous trust game study.
In this game, participants were betrayed. They lost money about half the time.
And the participants who received a dose of oxytocin beforehand, despite being consistently betrayed, they kept investing the same amount. They continued to trust.
That is fascinating. So the body's internal chemistry literally overwrites the external evidence of betrayal.
That's what it does. It changes the definition of emotional safety.
Because those who got a placebo.
They felt the expected anger and immediately reduced their investments.
Exactly. This is the chemical proof of internally generated emotional safety.
The fMRI scans showed that the oxytocin actively reduced activity in two critical areas. First, the amygdala,
The brain's fear and aggression center.
and the dorsal striatum, which is responsible for focusing on negative feedback.
So cultivating these heart-centered emotions and producing oxytocin actively shuts down the fear and anger circuits in the brain.
In effect, you are chemically generating an internal state of emotional safety.
A state that's totally independent of the chaos or perceived threats of your external environment.
And this shift enables deep self-trust, and more importantly, trust in possibility.
The possibility that a new future can exist even if the past was traumatic.
You are not waiting for the world to feel safe so you can open your heart.
You're generating the chemistry of safety from within.
And that allows for trust, for connection, and for the alignment needed for real change.
Which brings us to the ultimate practical application. Intentionality.
If we accept that we were chemically conditioned to the past, our job now is to choose.
To choose to feel elevated emotions, rather than waiting for some external event to cause them for us.
We are training the body to emotionally feel what the future will be like ahead of the actual experience.
We are, in essence, remembering our future.
The daily practice is all about alignment and training the system. The mechanics are simple.
But they require consistency.
Absolutely. First, you center your attention in the heart, in that fourth energy center.
Second, you slow your breath, breathing deeply and slowly into the chest area.
And then the third step is the commitment. You have to sustain a high elevated emotion.
And gratitude is particularly emphasized as the most powerful one to start with. Why is that?
Because the chemical signature of gratitude biologically implies that the desired outcome has already happened.
So it places the body in the ultimate state of receivership.
Not need or want or lack.
As you sustain and then radiate that energy beyond your body, you are tuning in to the frequency of your desired future.
This intentional work primes the brain and the body for a new destiny. We stop trying to force outcomes.
Which the sources describe as matter trying to influence matter, a tedious and often ineffective process.
Instead, you start aligning your internal energy, your frequency, so that the future can find you.
You're consciously moving your attention and your energy off the known, familiar past.
The people, places, and circumstances you were chemically bonded to.
And you invest that focused attention into the unknown possibilities of the future.
This allows the change to happen organically because your inner reality is finally matching the outcome you desire.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
The core takeaway is that safety is not an external condition achieved by controlling your environment.
It's an internal chemical state created moment by conscious choice and alignment.
The doorway to sustainable change is that moment we choose to lead with the heart.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the implication is profound.
Your coherent, heart-centered energy can non-locally influence the heart coherence of others nearby.
Which raises a powerful question for you to consider.
Imagine the subtle yet profound effect your sustained state of internal emotional safety has on the people you interact with every single day.
Your partner, your children, your community.
Your personal coherence is, in effect, a force for collective calm.
Prioritize making your inner world a place of biological coherence and security. That's where the true revolutionary transformation begins.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.